Hello, everyone, and welcome to SPI Health and Safety's webinar on this Thursday, October 15th. I hope you're doing well. My name is Amélie Leduc. I'm a marketing advisor. It's nice to be with you again. And today we're going to talk about protective clothing, especially for the mining industry. But before we start, for those who are joining our webinar for the first time, let me introduce you quickly to SPI. What we do here at SPI, or what we want at SPI, is to be the single most valuable partner for companies that value health and safety in their work environment. And how do we do that? By providing you with PPEs, as well as training and expertise in all of these risk categories. Um, we are across Canada as well. So today, to discuss the protection of mine workers, I have the privilege to be accompanied by Charles from Big Bill. Hi, Charles. How are you?
Hello, Emily. Doing good. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. Doing
No
good. Thanks.
problem. Charlie is actually doing the webinar remotely to comply with health regulations. Yeah, there might be a delay sometimes, but we're glad to have you on board with us today. Charles, what is it exactly that you do at Big Bill?
Yes. So me, I'm sales representative, market regional accounts development as well. So I've been working over 20 years now at Big Bill. So I've seen many companies, done many presentations as well, and I've been formed with Westex for flame-resistant garments, and also with 3M for the CSA 96 regulation. So that's about it. Yeah,
Good. So 20 years, I guess we're in good hands.
yeah.
All right. So, what are we going to be covering today? Charles is going to talk about the overview of the current CSA Z96 standard. Also going to talk about the proper maintenance of your gear, as well as workwear innovations and what to wear in which situation. In always in the mining industry. So today it's really specific about the mining industry. A bit of housekeeping before we start. The webinar is going to last between 30 and 40 minutes. If you want to ask us questions, by all means use the chat box on your console. Um, and also indicate the company you work for. Just it gives us more latitude to understand, your reality and answer accordingly. Also note that this webinar will be there will be a rebroadcasting link available, which will be sent within 24 to 48 hours after the webinar. However, the PowerPoint will not be available. So if you need to take notes, then grab a pen and a piece of paper right now. So before we get started, we'd like to learn a bit about our audience. So our question for you today is, how many body injuries related to inappropriate clothing have you had in your business in the last 2 years? Hopefully it's none, but maybe it's 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16, and more. So in just a second, you should see on your screen the actual question. Yeah, you see it now. So you'll be able to answer one A, B, C, D, or E. We'll give you a few seconds. Charles, what do you think will be the most popular answer to this question?
Me, I would say about 1 to 5, hopefully. People are getting more and more informed about all the standard, especially for mining, which we have now new regulations with the high-vis clothing on site.
Yeah,
So hopefully, yeah, it'll be 1 to 5.
good. Okay, okay. Oh, hopefully it will be none, but between 1 to 5 and 16 and more, hopefully it's 1 to
Yes,
5.
be none. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, your wish is being it's concluent. Basically, three almost 75% of our audience says they didn't have any injuries, which is great. We're glad to hear
That
that.
is great.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, and about a third of our audience is 1 to 5. So nobody in the 6 to 10 or more. So that's great. That's great news.
That's good news. Yes.
Yeah. All right, so let's start right away. I'll let you, Charles, get into your presentation. And again, people, you have questions, just shoot them and we'll answer as we go. Even though there's a question period at the end, we still like to have this webinar interactive.
Great. So thank you everybody for joining us to this webinar. So introducing Big Bill, just a quick review of Big Bill. So those who don't know the company, we're proudly producing in North America only. So we're a Canadian-based company. So we only use US premium fabrics, YKK zippers, 3M reflective tapes. So all the premium fabrics also. So premium garments, actually, we don't do any imports either. And don't buy generic fabrics. So really high quality clothing, and we're proud of it being a Canadian company.
Good. So you're going to talk about the
So
8 most common causes of workplace ignition.
yeah, exactly. So flame resistant garments is really important to take note of those most common causes in workplace ignition. So we have the high heat, of course, open flames, electrical arc, sparks, flammable liquids, gases, also cutting welding, the molten metals, and flammable dust is one of the side people don't necessarily pay attention to, but it's really one of the causes, mostly for paper mill, actually, which I know last year happened a big explosion in Maine in a
Hmm.
paper mill. So these really we need to pay attention and make sure uh, there's no risk actually in the environment. If so, people need to wear flame resistant clothing. So question that I see, which is really common, people asking for arc flash and not flame resistant clothing. So actually both would be into the same standard. So we see on the other page, the North American standard defined NFPA 2112 and CGSB 155.20. So an unplanned exposure to flash fire, diffuse fuel air ignition source, which flame moves rapidly in a short period of time. So the NFPA 2112 stipulates a 3-second, 2 cal per centimeter cube exposure using and use the test method. So for the FR performance and the CGSB 155.20, typically 3 seconds or less in their definition. So both would variable includes the duration of the exposure, the intensity of heat, and the magnitude as well, the total exposure energy. So this is all under the arc rating, actually. So both whether it's arc flash or flame resistant, the HRC level is calculated by the ATPV in calorie by centimeter cube. So both would be FR. So us, what we like to promote actually and strongly suggest is the layering system. So as we see on the market for the outdoor clothing, everybody's using now new technology, whether it's the power dry moisture wicking management, and they use multiple layers to be more comfortable and stay dry. So either it's flame resistant or the regular clothing. We now have all those options available in FR. So the next to skin first level is really important, especially if you wear a flame resistant garment. You need to avoid synthetic fibers. That's really important. So I need to wear 100% cotton, natural fiber. Or if you can wear flame resistant underwears or long john, that's an extra protection to avoid any extra burning degrees. So the level 2, this would be next to skin. Level 2 is mostly for open mine pits, which are more exposed to cold temperature. So you got the workwear uniform, the insulated, and then you go with the shelter and the insulated outerwear as well. So we have a few options that I will present. Actually, us we working a lot with Polar Tech. So they do have that technology. They covers it all actually. So we got the power dry moisture wicking management with the long johns, short sleeve t-shirt, long sleeve boxers. There's also the power grid and the power dry shirt available. So again, with the moisture wicking management. So wearing this, it really helps to keep you dry. So good for the productivity and comfort of the employee. This is why we strongly recommend the layering system, because once you're wet, especially in 100% cotton, it doesn't dry fast, so you're uncomfortable and it's not the same comfort to work. So step 4, we got the Thermal Pro or Wind Pro also available. So the Wind Pro would be highly water resistant, windbreaker as well, and us we do detachable hood as well on the hoodies and the jackets for safety purposes. And then you go with the shell, the power shield or the rain suit. So there's other companies also that other competitors or manufacturer that does use the same kind of technology. So it's really important for the employee to be comfortable in their garment. So we strongly suggest some tests as well or trials that we can offer sometime just to make sure uh, that people see the difference and the value of the layering system. So other than the moisture wicking and power dry technology, us we did develop some flash drop coverall actually. So it's patent to us. The coverall actually it reduces the burn injury, increase rates of survival, and so either flash fire or arc flash. And us, we did develop this coverall for the comfort because the most common complaint we have with FR garments is really too hot to wear. People were complaining about comfort, so we brought this up for the comfort. So it allows air to circulate. So it is patent to us. It does meet all the CSA and the NFPA 2112 standard. So as you'll see on the other page, you'll see the difference here of the exposure at the 3 second, and if you go up to 4 second, there's really a big gap difference on the coverall. So it's a good feature that came up with these tests. So we just wanted to have something more breathable and comfortable to wear. So it came up with the extra body protection, giving a space of cushion of air between the skin and the coverall to reduce the body burn.
Now talking about Ontario mining regulations.
Yes, so I'm really glad to see those numbers and no incident. So congratulations for those, because I've seen worse, and so really glad to see that people are taking care of their employee being safe on site. So I guess all the precautions have been done, and so that's really good news. So as you know, probably all of you, the mining industry did put a law in 2016. So everybody in the open mine pit needs to be with a CSA Z96 class 2 level 2. And for the people that work under earth, so they would need to wear class 3 level 2 garments. So I have many questions that are brought to me. Should I wear 4 inch? Is it really 2 inch? Does does the 2-inch tape passes the regulation or not? So that's a common question that we are been asked. So we'll see on the other slide there.
Just
A
before we
few,
switch,
yeah.
Charles, just before we switch, Ontario, is there a regulation like this for the other provinces or
Quebec and Ontario that
only?
have those law, yeah,
So
actually.
the other, okay.
But I would say many other open mine pits or any other mines outside of Ontario or Quebec are using high-vis clothing for the most of them with the trucks and circulations and everything.
Yeah.
So people are more and more into high-vis clothing to protect the employees.
So they're referring to this CSA standard.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So the
Okay.
CSA is a Canadian regulation,
Yeah.
but it is they reinforce the law for mining industry to avoid as much
Incident,
uh,
yeah. Accident.
incident as possible. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we do see here a few options. So whether it's 4-inch or 2-inch silver tape, they both meet the CSA standard. So really the importance is having a background high vis, either orange or yellow. And 2-inch silver striping is really the important thing that needs to be on there to meet the standard. So the silver tape is only for the night retroreflectivity. So 4-inch would give more visual in daytime, but nighttime you can do a test if you'd like. Just take a picture with your cell phone and put the flash on. With a 4-inch and a 2-inch, the only thing you'll see is the 2-inch silver striping. So the most important is high vis background and the 2-inch silver striping. So as you see, there's option in navy also. We can combine navy pants with the high vis upper body. So to meet CSA class 2 for open mine pit, we only need like the upper body, the X on the back, stripe around the waist, and then the two reflective vertical stripes on front. So that would meet the CSA class 2. Arms are not necessarily needed to meet the CSA class 2. So we see right there on the hoodie and the high vis shirt and the vest. So those all meet CSA class 2 level 2, even though there's no stripe on the arms. So we did have the navy option as well, because under Earth, the regulation mentions or that the clothing needs to be CSA class 2 or 3. Actually, under Earth is class 3, or clothing that would meet 100 millimeter of reflective tape. So they kind of allow navy under since it's really dark under Earth, so there's not much day visibility out there. So the navy options are also available. So as we see other options here that we can combine, as I said, with the navy pants. If we want to meet CSA class 3, we can still keep a navy pant. It needs to have reflective, 4-inch reflective tape on the legs though, and the upper body needs to have reflective on arms and needs to be high vis, either orange or yellow. So you see other options here. Like I said, the Navy would only meet class 1 level 2 since it doesn't have enough daytime visibility. And the 2-inch yellow and silver does not meet the CSA class 2, either class 3. So the really important to have the 2-inch reflective tape on the garments. And I would say most of the mining industry that we serve, they are pretty much all into the 2-inch silver striping. So here we see just a quick review of the CSA Z96. So class 1, need the upper body like a vest. So the importance really the 2-inch reflective. You see the picture there with the 2-inch yellow tape. That would be like we see with ambulance sometimes, or we see more in Europe, not much here in Canada, but this 2-inch reflective tape would be retroreflective as well at nighttime. So us, we pretty much we only use the silver striping or the 4-inch yellow and silver. That's what we commonly see in North America. So class 2 doesn't necessarily need the arm, only the 360 degree around the waist, the vertical stripe on front, and the X on the back. So that would mean class 2. And for class 3, we need to have the extra striping on the arms and the legs to make the CSA class 3. And we see the combination there with the navy coverall, with the yellow, the orange vest, and the navy coverall, it has a 4-inch reflective tape. So if you wear a navy garment or a darker color, you really need a high vis on the upper body and need to have the 4-inch reflective tape at this time.
Good, Charles. We have one question that I
Yeah.
would like to ask you is how do we clean or take care of our protective clothing? What's the best way to do so?
Yes, actually, the washing instruction is really simple. You need to wash your FR garment separately from regular clothing, so you wash them really apart alone, and you can't use any bleach or fabric softeners. So that's pretty much the main care you need to avoid. For every fabric, either it's the Westex DH, the Nomex fabric, Ultra Soft, Tika Safe. We all have the washing care instruction guide as well. So if you need further information and would like to get those documents, these are all available through either SPI or Big Bill. We can provide you those information.
Good. Before we go to the question period, so that resumes what you had to present in regards to the protective clothing for the mining industry. So we do have questions, but before we go to the question period, we just want to ask you if we can help you. So you can answer on your screen if you'd like to have a call or a visit from SPI and Big Bill representatives to assess your needs and available options for protective clothing. So we'll give you a few seconds to answer that question. You should see it on your screen right now. So, yes or no. And then in the meantime, I invite you to prepare your questions, send them over through the Q&A chat box. All right, thanks everybody. So moving on to the question period, Charles, we had one question. I guess it's more of a clarification. What
Yep.
size should be the reflective tape for the Navy option for going under Earth? I think
That
CSA
really
class three.
needs Yeah, that really needs to have a 4-inch reflective tape to meet the minimum of visibility under Earth.
Okay, all right.
So
So
we
that was
strongly suggest to wear orange or high vis yellow though, because once you're open mine pit, you will need to wear a vest, high vis, on top of it to walk on site.
okay. Perfect. Hope it answers your question. Um, so again, feel free to send them over. Don't be shy. If you're wondering this, someone else might be. So there doesn't seem to be any questions, but if there are this time, you can definitely send them over to us. You have the email address on your screen. It will be our pleasure. I will transfer your questions directly to Charles so we can answer you. Um, in the meantime, sometimes questions come further along. I want to invite you to our upcoming webinar. It's actually a virtual live event It's going to be a Q&A on fall protection. So you may send your questions beforehand, but you can also just join in, ask your question live, and our fall protection experts will respond to you directly on the spot. So if you want to register, you can do it through me. You have the email address as well as my phone number. Obviously, we're also on social media. We do have a blog, so we invite you to register, and you'll receive really interesting articles about different health and safety topics. So let me see if we got questions in the meantime. No, I guess Charles, you were pretty clear. So thanks for your time, your presentation. Thanks for doing it remotely in these uncertain conditions
Yeah,
right now. We're glad to
you're
have you
welcome.
there.
Yes.
So we hope that the presentation met your expectations. As usual, we invite you to answer our short survey. It takes a few minutes, a few seconds actually, but for us, it gives us a lot of information on how we can improve and also what other topics are of interest to you. So again, on behalf of SPI and Big Bill, I wish you a great day. Thanks for being here and be safe. Bye, Charles.
Bye, Emily. Thank you.